And we are back. We are live with another Crypto Grind live stream. You all know me as Stuart, aka Crypto Grind. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have everybody back. And in this one, we're going to be talking about an interesting one and not something that gets spoken about a lot, especially with the run up to the next bull run. And that is make sure you are actually ready. Make sure that you are prepared. It's going to come faster than what you actually think it is. So make sure you have everything lined up. And then, when the bull run actually hits, you can be safe. You can just sit back, relax, and wait for your profits to actually pour in. So we're going to get going with the usual. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, but let's give a shout out to first in the stream, Khalid, a Crypto Grind OG. Welcome to the stream. It's always good to see you. Thanks for joining in, and I hope you're going to enjoy the chat, the live. If there is anything that you want me to talk about, make sure that you're dropping the comments down below. But yeah, we're just going to have a general chat about where you can prepare yourself for the actual bull run, what you can do to prepare yourself. Make sure that you are as ready as possible. But before we get going on that, we're just going to take a look. Bitcoin sitting at 27,000, where it has been more or less for the past few days, probably week or so. So nothing really special on that. I range between where we are now and then back down to maybe. Now I'm saying maybe because this is something that it's difficult to say where it's going to go. I never thought we would even be testing 24,000 again, and that's what happened a little while ago back here. So it might come back down to this 25 level, but I think we've seen some major resistance here, 28,000. And then we're just going to have to see where it goes from there. But possibly, I would imagine ending the year closer to 30,000 than at the lower end of the spectrum. So if you're expecting another big dump from Bitcoin, I wouldn't think that is going to happen unless we have a huge black swan event, and then we've got some issues going on in the Middle East. If that turns into a full-fledged war for the rest of the world, of course, that's going to have an effect on everything economy-wise. So, this is something that, unless we have a black swan event, I think we're going to be stuck in this range between sort of 26 and then 28. And if we do break this resistance all the way up to 30, and then moving towards the halving, probably watching that price of Bitcoin absolutely tick up as well before we kick on properly. Before we move on to the next little bit of the stream, we have, well, I hope I'm going to say your name, Papito. I hope I've said your name right. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you here. Taking a look at the crypto bubbles as well. We've got some ones really badly down on the week. This website sometimes does not run well, but we've got Gala down 17% on the week. Absolutely horrendous. Doesn't really surprise me with all the FUD that is going on. Let's see if we can't get that to reset. With all the FUD that is going on with Gala, it doesn't really surprise me that unfortunately we are down like that. And I would imagine that we're going to see Gala continue to go down. And who knows how low it is actually going to go. It is pretty disappointing that we are seeing this with Gala at the moment, that we are watching it go down, especially since it was seen as the king of crypto. My most recent video, if you haven't watched it, I've started to look at the gaming coins and the gaming projects that are possibly going to replace Gala as the king of the gaming space. So you can see here in the last day, it's down, the last week down 16%, and that trend is just, I think, unfortunately going to continue. And it is quite sad. I do hold Gala. I am hoping that it'll at least come back to my break even, and then I can take my coins out, but it's just not worth me taking out at the moment. And I would suggest the same for everybody, unless you are in profit because you bought way early on. It's better to, because I mean we lower than some of these lows here, so it's just unfortunate. We'll just have to hope that it gets better, but I wouldn't be buying any more at these prices. I would be focusing on other projects, ones that are more solid, that will actually give you your better returns. So we can talk about a little bit about that as well. And then we've also got Vimal in the chat as well. Hey man, it's good to see you, and thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. Everybody, make sure that you are also liking the stream. It is the best way that you can support the channel. Like, share it with your friends. get everybody part of it. Join the Crypto Grind Telegram as well. The link is in the description. It's a free channel where you talk about everything crypto. The only thing that I say there is don't shill coins, pay promotions and things like that. But otherwise, join and we can chat everything crypto. So it's a great place to be. What is my opinion on Taraxa? Now, I actually like the look of this project. It's people are on two minds about this. I think that this is a pretty, and I think that if you miss on Casper, I do believe that this is possibly one that you get into now, especially with these prices where they are. My Patreons actually did get into this project a little while ago. I gave them a buy alert. So we are up a little bit at the moment. I think we got in roundabout here, so at these lows down here. So we are up a little bit, but I do think overall it's going to be an absolutely great buy. If you have a look at what Casper did, Casper's sitting at, just over $1 billion right now. Everybody who is a regular will know that I don't like Casper very much. I think that there's a lot wrong with it, but I'm not going to drone on about that again. But we can see that Casper's sitting at 900 million. Taraxa, same sort of thing, but a functioning ecosystem with things already being deployed on that. So if you have a look at it from that perspective, sitting at 17 million currently, you could see that doing a 100x from here and matching what Casper has done already. So just in terms of pure gains, Taraxa for me is sort of really really want to look at. I think it's a solid project. BlockDAG, so they're in that sort of narrative already with Casper, where you have this BlockDAG, which probably will be a fairly one of the narratives that will do quite well. You've got HBAR, that's another one. So you've all got these BlockDAGs that are all competing for the #1 spot, and I don't think you can ignore Taraxa. Obviously, there are other safer picks as well if you want Kadena, BlockDAG, an established project as well. But I do think that this is one that you could be looking at as possibly, making yourself some good profit. But remember, nothing I say is financial advice. Always make sure that you're doing your own research. These are just projects that I know about and I've looked into, and I'm pretty positive and bullish on this one. And I think this one could be one that gives some pretty decent returns, especially once Casper has maxed itself out and people are looking for big returns later on in the bull run. We also have another comment here from Apex Ice Official. Bought some Myria when it was down 18%. Well, then you bought at the right time, because I think it's done quite well over the last few days. If we just bring the chart up here, 3% the last day, but I think since the weekend, it's actually quite a nice pump. We just wait for this chart to load up. Anybody to the stream as well, you'll know that my internet does take a little bit of time to load up. The reason being, here in South Africa, we have internet cables that run down the continent. Both the major cables feeding the country were taken out a little while ago, and they said it's going to take up until the end of the year to it's going to take to the end of the year to actually fix. So yeah, unfortunately the internet will be a little bit slow. So Myria, you said you bought when it was down 18%. So I'm assuming, if we have a look here, that was the last day. Let's have a look at the last week. So I'm assuming you bought somewhere in this range over here, which, you've done pretty well, because from here in the last week, we're up 10%. So you did pretty well, even if you bought over here. That's a pretty good return. Make sure that I'm pretty sure you can stake Myria, if I remember correctly. So if you can, make sure you're staking it, get some passive income. I think this is going to be one of the winners of the next bull run from the gaming space. I think that we will see it do pretty well. It's got a long way to go. It could even match what Gala did in the last bull run. So then you're looking at, $4.5 billion. I don't like to tell people, oh, look, it can do that, because then, we're looking here at like a 500x. It's possible, who knows? But personally, if I was getting into Myria right now, if I saw it starting to do 100x's, I would be taking my profits and I would be extremely happy that I got a 100x sitting at 700 million. You walk away smiling. Even if you take 90% of your profits out at 100x, and then you watch it go the rest of the way, even if it does do another 10x from there, it's okay. You know, you've taken majority of your profits out. So yeah, it's I would definitely say if you've taken out here, you're looking sitting very pretty for the next bull run. So just touching on what I did want to speak about today. So it just says, ever wondered where Bitcoin was 200 days before the halving? And now the reason why this is important is that we are less than 200 days away from the halving. Now, if we can actually just bring this picture up a little bit so we can show you a little bit better what it looks like. And these are the last bull runs where you can see that Bitcoin is following the same chart pattern for the last two bull runs. And we're sitting at 60% down from all-time highs every time. And then obviously we had rallies and then moved up. In 2019, we did have a bit of a down spike, and then the coin actually ticked up. You can see over here. Didn't really have too much of a downward trend in 2015. It was at 65% of its all-time high, and then really started to kick off. So I think what they're really showing here is that there's a bit more of a downside. I think this might have been just a freak. And then we kicked off really big time. So we can look and sort of think that this is going to do more or less the same thing, where we might have a slight downtrend over here. We might retest maybe these levels there, round about the 25,000 mark, which is what we were saying at the beginning of the stream. And then it's going to be game on. It's going to be all the way up. And I think we're going to see Bitcoin coming to these sort of levels here between 100 and 150,000 is probably realistic for what we can expect from Bitcoin. I know that there are a lot of predictions out there where they say it's going to go 200,000, it's going to go 300, 400, but I think between 100 and 150 is pretty realistic for Bitcoin. So that's what we can expect. And then obviously, I would say you're going to see a lot of alts lagging from that perspective, probably take a couple of months before we really see the altcoins kick off. And that's really where I wanted to talk about today. So sorry, I did see a comment here about Kadena, so we can bring that up. So it says, did I say that Kadena, if this will lag, is BlockDAG? And they do make use of BlockDAG technology, even if it isn't fully BlockDAG. They do make use of some BlockDAG technology or DAG, if you want to be more specific. So direct acyclic graph, they do make use of it as part of their consensus mechanism. And that's sort of the reason why it seems to be a thing where it's either Casper or Kadena. The Casper community absolutely dump on all the Kadena holders. But at the same time, Kadena, again, has a functioning ecosystem, a lot that they can actually do with it, where, again, Casper, you can't really do all that much. So that's one of the reasons why I would prefer going for Kadena over Casper or Taraxo over Casper. They're very similar technologies. Yes, Kadena might be a little bit older, but it doesn't make it any worse. They've gone through a whole bunch of updates. They've got a lot going for them. The ZK rollups, they have a project that's been deployed on Kadena that will actually challenge Chainlink as one of the Oracle sort of projects as well. So they've got a lot going for them, and they shouldn't just be discounted because they're an older technology and everybody has got caught up in the hype. And it's something that we will speak about in plenty of my streams coming up, but hype is a big thing. It doesn't, what I've learned over the last few months, it doesn't have to be a fantastic project for it to do well. It just needs good marketing. We've seen lots of projects. Look at something like an HBAR. Good project, but the marketing department is lacking. So we don't really know about HBAR. It's only the fans of HBAR, basically. But then you get something like a Casper that doesn't really do all that much, but they're pumping that marketing out. You go onto Twitter, it's all you see. If we have a look at my main feed on Twitter, you see all of those coins that are on the list. It's going to do 100x. This one's going to do fantastic things, and Casper's always on one of those lists. So they've got people talking about it a lot. If we just scroll down, eventually you'll find it. It might be on this list here. Let's see. There we go. Didn't take us long. So people saying Casper has made 100x. I don't know if this was when this influencer actually posted about it or from this point, but they've done really well with marketing. And a lot of these coins, I mean, some of these are very good. We've spoken about Tara. I think is good. Space is pretty good. I need to do a bit more research on that. This one here, Loop, I think is absolute trash. Rio, I think is a good one. So there's some of those ones that on that list that are good. They're very good. I mean, Injective as well, very good. Casper, I'm not a huge fan of. A0, I like. Trias, I think, is pretty good as well. But it's all about marketing a lot of the time. So hype is there. If the hype is there, then of course the coin is going to do well. And that's just how it really is, unfortunately. And yeah, Casper got caught up in it. Kadena was on the other side of the hype. Their marketing wasn't great, and look what's happened to them. So sometimes projects just fail because the marketing and the hype wasn't there. Nice entry on Myria. Constantly up 9%, currently up 9%, and happy, planning on picking up more. Not sure when. What we can do, I do have a marker for Myria with some basic sort of trend lines. I like to use trend lines and support and resistance when it comes to ignore this. This is my Forex, so we can bring up the Myria. And we can have a look, see some of the basic lines that have been drawn. Sorry, I get distracted by reading chat and then I go off on a tangent. So excuse me for that one, but let's just, so what I like to do is start on the higher time frames. We can get rid of some of my indicators here that I do make use of. We'll even get rid of the Smart Money Concepts one. Okay, actually Smart Money Concepts does help us. So this is on the 4 hour. So we can see that it has peaked out at a high. We can even move to the daily over here. And we can see on the daily yesterday, this was Monday here. Monday, we've peaked out at a high. So we've probably, we're going to come back down. And what I've drawn here is the 4 hour resistance level over here. And it actually works quite well on the daily too. You can see that we actually hitting this resistance level quite a bit. It tested, rejected, and then this was when, in July, when everything sort of went down. Tested again, didn't do well. Tested again, rejected. Tested again, rejected. Tested again, rejected. So you can see it's constantly bumping up against this level. And it's happened again. We tested this level over here. We came up, we've rejected. We're coming back down. So now it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here now, because what could happen, either it's going to come back down into these levels here, this zone, or it's going to turn this support, this resistance into support. So the next few days are going to be very interesting to see how it's going to do around these levels. Currently, you can see on the 4 hour, we're still coming down. And I make use of, it's called the Smart Money Concepts Indicator for my Forex. It does sort of apply a little bit to crypto, but more for the ones that have more volume. So it looks like it's actually created a bit of it's what's called a fair value gap over here. So there's basically what this indicator is telling us is that we have a lot of orders unfilled that is sitting here. So this might be your zone over here where you could be looking at picking up, because we most likely have, you can see over here, it's where it was going up. So there were a lot of buy orders that were put in here. These order blocks are put in here that never got filled because it sort of tapped into it and then went. So we might have orders sitting here that need to be filled. So as soon as this comes in, you've got open orders that are going to pick it up, and then the price will pick up. So here's one zone that you could be looking at. If you're looking further down the list, if we think maybe it's going to fill up, because a lot of the time these zones are one-time use. So it fills up, it might test again and then come back down to here and test this resistance level over here. So you could always DCA in over here, wait to see what happens. If it's, if it rejects off this line and comes back down, most likely going to go through this and then come and fill these orders over here. Some of these these are from September, so they might have even been closed by now, cancel the orders, but there's still a possibility that it'll come back here and then kick off. So you have two zones where you can start to look round about the 16 cents level and the 14 cents level. You might be doing pretty well. We've got Colin McDonald, another regular on the channel. Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you here. If you do have any questions, of course, drop them down below. And then we have a question here from Coin Dragon. I heard you say something about Casper that made you seem bearish. I may be wrong, but I thought it had something to do with the future migration because of smart contracts. So currently, at the moment, Casper doesn't have smart contracts. They say that they are bringing smart contracts, but my concern when it comes to that is then what is going to happen to the speed? It's in my opinion, the speed of the Casper project will probably decrease if they do actually bring smart contracts in. I've spoken about this a lot, and a lot of the regulars probably will be getting fed up with me saying the same thing and bashing Casper. That's not only myself. There are some other influencers out there who have some issues with Casper. But if you actually go to their website, I don't know, this is an old white paper. There is somewhere on their website. I found it once on a live stream and I haven't managed to find it again, but they have a roadmap. As part of their roadmap, they say that they are going to soon be releasing an updated 2023 white paper. We are at the end of 2023. We have got 10 weeks until the end of the year, and we still haven't seen a new white paper from the team. Now, I'm sure that they're working hard in the background, and I'm not bashing. I'm not saying it's an absolute trash project. It does look like they are working hard in the background, and the team are pretty good. But my concern is they are not sort of delivering on what they're saying. And even if they can't start to deliver on a white paper, how are they going to convert that into an actual functioning chain? If you Google the Casper ecosystem, there's nothing there. There's no functioning project on it. Part of it is they want to make it the silver of the cryptocurrency space. So basically they want to, in a sense, compete with Bitcoin. What do we use Bitcoin for? To pay for things. We don't need another cryptocurrency to pay for things. We've got enough of those. You can go and buy Tesla merchandise using Doge if you want to. So is that what Casper is going to become, just settling a lot faster? If that's the case, we've already got Algorand, we've got HBAR, we've got Quant, we've got XRP, XLM. All of those are settlement tokens. Again, you don't need Casper. So those are the few things for me. Now, I'm not saying Casper is not going to do well. Again, what we were speaking about earlier on, there is a lot of hype around Casper. So if you buy Casper right now, which I wouldn't recommend if you are looking for big gains, Casper is not the one. Personally, I don't think Casper is going to do more than a 10x from this point in time. We saw it plenty of times where projects were sitting at $1 billion in the last bull run and they hit 10 billion. So realistically, 10 to 15x, 8 to 15x is possibly realistic where Casper will go from here, where you can look at some other projects, not even in the block DAG space. There's gaming, there's AI, there is storage, a lot of those ones where it'll actually you'll make bigger gains. You don't have to go for Casper. I feel like Casper did very well for a lot of people in the bull run. I mean, in the bear market, but when the bulls come, I think Casper's already had its time when it comes to massive gains. I'm not saying that Casper's going to fail. I'm not hoping that it's going to fail. I want all cryptos to succeed because it's just good for the space. I believe in crypto. I'm a massive fan of crypto, not just for making gains, but the technology itself. But in terms of completely just taking everything, throwing it all at Casper and saying, we are going to 100x from here, it's going to do fantastic things. Don't blindly, sort of follow that. I want to see if I can't find the roadmap. Let's just see if it's under the vision section. But there is somewhere on this website we will see the roadmap. And I can show you, unless maybe they've been watching my streams and have taken it off. but that's unlikely. I'm not influential enough for that. But it is somewhere on this website where you will find the roadmap, and they will talk about their white paper, the 2023 updated white paper, and this sort of thing. You're solving your trilemma. A lot of projects claim that they've solved the trilemma. We don't know if anybody has. It's just words. Let's see if we can maybe find it somewhere in features. If not, we'll move on and just keep cracking on with this live stream. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there for now. I'll have a look and see if I can't find it, and I'll drop a link on Twitter or something like that, and you can see what I'm talking about. We've got Khalid coming in here and saying, thoughts on Tectum. I know that there has been a lot of FUD around Tectum. Some of it's probably valid. I think the CEO has left or something like that, which is not good. When you have a project, I mean, Tectum was one of those ones, it started to go onto everybody's radars. Everybody was starting to look at it. It was looking really good. Lots of things were looking up. And then there was FUD. I'm pretty sure that the CEO or something like that left the project. Now, it probably does raise some concerns. Why would your CEO leave when you're on the verge of a bull run, when you want the price to actually start pumping? You at this point where you, in terms of a following, you're still relatively small. So you're trying to grow that following into the 100, 200, whatever thousand, and your CEO decides to leave. Now, we don't know the full story. All we know is that, well, I'm sure it was the CEO left or something like that, that it does sort of raise some concerns. And I can understand where investors would be concerned and why. But I think that the project will probably still do pretty well. It's not one that I will most likely be getting into. I've got other ones that are on my radar when it comes to buying. But I think that just looking at it, it seems pretty decent. I'm pretty sure this guy Russell Shawn has left. So and you know, payment systems and whatnot, they seem pretty positive. But we've had a lot of these payment systems that come and go, that generally don't do pretty well. In general, I don't think the world is ready for crypto payment systems. But again, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there has been some FUD. Watch it carefully if you are in it. I wouldn't panic sell, to be honest with you. We've seen these things happen time and time again. But yeah, it is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Maybe we can, let's see, Tectum. Maybe get some news on Tectum here. So let's go to news. We can maybe see what the issue was, why that I'm pretty sure the CEO left or something like that. But anyway, yeah, it's not a bad project in my perspective. I don't think it's too bad. I think you can do a lot worse than Tectum. And Cash Cats, is it Cash or Cache? Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you here. Yeah, so then what we can also do, now that we've caught up on all comments, we can just talk a little bit about what you should possibly be looking at doing as this bear market is fast approaching. We already saw that we are less than 200 days away from, sorry, the bull run. What we can do now to start preparing ourselves for that bull run. You don't want to be panicking a few days before you're starting to see your coins heat up, that you're getting ready to sell and things like that. So first of all, right now, what you need to do right now, make sure you are accurately tracking your coins. Every purchase that you have done or will do now or today or in the future, before you wrap up and you say, I'm done with crypto, with buying cryptos before the bull run, once you hit your target, make sure you're recording it somewhere, whether it's on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, if you have an Excel spreadsheet, whatever the case is, make sure it is recorded somewhere. And also where you bought those coins, if you've left them on the exchange, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you have decided to leave them there, then make a note that you know they're there. Or if you've moved them, to a crypto wallet, Tangem or Ledger. By the way, guys, if you do want, speaking of Tangem, I've got a code for Tangem wallets in the description. But yeah, so wherever you stored them, make sure that you know where they are and you can access them pretty quickly if you want to start selling. And the reason for that is, and I've just got notes here. So what I'm saying when it gets to that is when it gets to staked coins as well, make sure that you understand how long it's going to take to access them. For example, when the whole Luna situation happened last year, I went in and I bought Luna Classic extremely cheap. I somehow managed to time pretty much the bottom. I threw in $50, and I'm still up, surprisingly enough, not by much, but anyway. I've got them staked because there was nothing else that I could do with those rubbish coins that are Luna Classic. I've got them staked, but it takes 21 days for me to access them. So I have to go onto the Terra station, release the tokens, wait 21 days for them to be available to me. Now, you don't want to be doing that if you're watching your coin track up to its all-time highs or smashing past all your profit targets, and you still have to wait 21 days to be able to access them. So make sure you understand that. And as we're heading up to the bull run, consider unstaking them. If they're unstaked for 2 months, it's not going to be the end of the world when you look at the overall picture and you've got these massive profits that are going to be coming your way. So make sure you understand that some tokens are available in 48 hours, some are 7 days, some are 3 weeks, like in my case. But just make sure you understand how long it takes for them to unlock. Now, another one that I wanted to say, if we see another dip, it's probably your absolute last chance to DCA into a project that you are interested in. There might be one or two that myself or Archie or Seth or SSM or whatever drop a buy alert to our Patreons. There are going to be quite a few more DCA opportunities, I feel. So, there might be a brand new project, is what I'm getting at, where we drop to our patrons and then we bring it out to the wider crypto space. But a lot of what we are going to be doing now is accumulating these last few months of 2023, moving into the beginning of 2024, and then have that target where you go, right, I'm done. I'm not DCAing anymore. What I have, I hold, and hopefully you're going to make yourself some life-changing money at the end of the day. So make sure that if there is anything extra, if you have anything extra, there might be one more huge dip. Buy the dip. That's all you can do. DCA, make sure you load up your bags with whatever you can. Very important, don't borrow money to buy cryptos, please. Not something that you should be doing. Only spend what you can afford to do, and then hold and wait for the bull run. Now as the bull run hits, what I want you to make sure that you know your exit levels. With every single crypto that you have, you should have your overall price. Every time you buy, you need to report how much it cost when you bought it. And then you can have your overall level. So, for example, if I bought at 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, obviously my profit margin or my profit will be at 30 cents. So when it hits 30 cents, I'm in profit. Now I can start tracking when I want to actually get out of this to take my profit. So make sure for each coin you have your complete DCA, what it cost you in total, and where you will be able to start taking profits. Very, very important. And then obviously have different levels where you can go, I'm going to take out here, I'm going to take out here. So I'm going to take out at a 2x, I'm going to take out 10%. Then at a 5x, I'm going to take out another 10%. At a 50x, I'm going to take out only 5% because I can see that it's still tracking up. But start to plan for these eventualities. So when it does actually happen, you're not caught off guard and you're sitting going, I don't know what to do. Have a plan in place. Know what you're going to do. It will really, really help. And another one as well, when it comes to that, don't get caught up in greed. A lot of people say that they're waiting for a 1000x. First thing that's going to happen is there are going to be a lot of people out there, and I hope it's every single one of you watching this channel right now, where you're going to see more money than you have ever seen in your lifetime sitting in profits. And a lot of people might panic and take it all out because they don't have a plan in place, or they're going to sit and see that money. Say, for example, you've invested over the last 2 years $10,000. Now all of a sudden you are seeing $10 million in profits all the way across the board. And you say, oh, every single one of these coins has got another 10x in it. I can make $100 million. And it doesn't do that. It reverses, goes the other way. And I can tell you story after story after story where people did exactly that. I know people who went on holiday because they were so high up on Bitcoin and other ones. And then they sat in the swimming pool on their holiday watching Bitcoin tank and all their money going away. So make sure you have a plan in place. Don't get caught up in greed. You have a plan, stick to your plan. Make sure you stick to your plan. And at the very least, take out your initial investment. Super, super important. Taking out your initial investment, because that will really, really help you with making sure that you haven't actually lost. You know, take out your initial, you watch the rest go, and then what they say, you're playing with house money. So that's very important. And then, yeah, like I was saying as well, we are looking at the last few months of DCAing, really. I don't think we have too much longer before the bull runs actually start and they actually kick off. So if that's the case, make sure that if you're hitting your levels, you stop, leave a little bit of money over for new projects that you might see announced by your favorite YouTuber, your favorite, or doing your own research. Otherwise, you know, have what you have, you hold, and then take your profits into the next bull run. I'll just quickly here. So we have pronounced cash. Okay, great. Like I said, I'm terrible with names. So really, if I butcher anybody's name, it's not on purpose. I really do try. So Cash, welcome to the stream. I'm glad you could join us. And then, yeah, I've just made a note of some of my sort of favorite tokens that I will probably DCA more as time goes over. But obviously, it's not an exhaustive list. I'm sure you guys can drop a whole bunch of your own favorite, and I've probably missed out. But GFEL is one. I do think that there's probably a profit taking going to be happening for GFEL. So now's not the time to buy it, but I do think that we will have an opportunity within the next few months to pick that up. Maria, we have already spoken about that. Some of you really got in quite nice and early, which is fantastic. I think it's personally, I feel like we're going to have GFEL or Maria competing for the #1 spot in the gaming space in crypto. I know that for some reason, some people still think Sandbox and Axie Infinity are going to do extremely well, but I think they're dead projects, so I wouldn't be wasting money on those. Crust Network is another one. Not many people speak about it at the moment because it is seen as a boring project. It's storage. It's really not great. But I think that this one, as we're heading into the bull run, is going to do extremely well, and we some seriously discounted prices for this one. So yeah, this is another one of my favorites that I think that can do pretty well. Morpheus Network is another one. MNW, this is going to be one of the surprises of the upcoming bull run. I really do think that this is going to do extremely well, and everybody missing out on this, I feel you are going to kick yourself. VeChain was the only one in the supply chain niche the last time. We have something better this time around in Morpheus Network. And you look at VeChain did 14 billion because there was nothing else competing with it. I don't think VeChain is going to do badly, but I have a feeling that this is going to outperform it hugely. So if you are looking for something like that, I mean, we're sitting at a 50 million market cap. We can still do a 100x in my mind, and we'll still be at a third of what VeChain did in the previous bull run. So Morpheus Network for me is one of those ones you've got to have a little bit in your portfolio. Now here comes another one that is, I would say, a lot of people's favorites in my mind, and that's Quant. It is criminally underbought at the moment. I think Quant is a great coin, and the fact that it's sitting at this price, huge discount. I think from here, Quant can do a 10x quite easily. Maybe a 12x, I would say. Another one on my list, Algorand. Algorand, Matic, I think, is a very good coin. Obviously, those are some of the higher caps. So don't go all in on the higher caps if you want to see huge returns. But these are solid ones if you're looking for like a safe 10x, Quant, Algorand, HBAR, Matic, I think are really good bets. Polkadot is another one that you could look at. And then the other one is Taraxa, which we have spoken about as well. Those are some of my favorites on the list. It's not exhaustive. I mean, you guys can definitely just keep listing them in the chat and we'll go, yeah, good coin, good coin. So how do you proceed for the cash out? Do you do it directly via Tangent, Ledger, or do you send the money to an exchange and then to the bank account? That's a very difficult one to say. The problem is that we don't actually have a lot of off-ramps at the moment. So you're going to have to find, I would say that the best thing that you can do is you're not really going to be able to do Tangent. I don't think Tangent does directly into a bank account, if I remember correctly. Ledger might, I'm not too clued up on that side of things. But most of the time, the way that I do it is through an exchange where essentially I sell all my tokens for USDT or USDC, whatever the case is, send it to the exchange that it's the easiest for me as a South African, and then pay that directly into my bank account or whatever the case is. So that's probably going to be the best way for you to do it. If you go through something like a Coinbase, I think has a pretty decent off-ramp. Binance, some countries has off-ramps, other ones it doesn't. So you're just going to have to find the exchange that works well for you, connects to your bank account. If you're lucky, you might have a bank that actually accepts crypto. Otherwise, what you could look at doing is you have these projects like Scallop as an example, where they give you a credit card that you can actually go and spend your crypto at the shops. So, I mean, you cash out, and then, for example, if you want to use it just for, I don't know, buying clothes or watches or whatever the case is, your monthly or weekly groceries, you just swipe the card and then you have your crypto sitting on there. So there are other ways of doing it, but the best way is to look for an off-ramp through an exchange. That's what I would recommend. It's not definitive. There are plenty of other ways to do it, but I would suggest that is probably the most user-friendly way to do it, is to use an off-ramp that is on an exchange. We've got Colin coming in. I think Meld on this one, cashing out. Meld. I actually haven't looked into Meld all that much, eh? To be honest with you. So, Colin, are you saying that Meld is a good off-ramp for your tokens? Or are they're on the dip and it's time to take your profits and run? Decentralized banking protocol for lending and borrowing. Rights and development. Leveraging. Creating back-end loans, earning interest returns. Okay. So it's more around loans and that sort of thing. I have my doubts with a lot of these sort of projects when it comes to lending and borrowing on the crypto space. I've just seen too many of these sort of ones that have become scams. This one again might not necessarily be a scam, but I just have seen bad things happen for these. So I don't generally like these all that much. Might not necessarily be a bad project, but yeah, we can't even get a historical market cap. Yeah, these sort of lending protocols a lot of the time can be scams. Ivan on Tech covers it. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll go and check it out, do a bit more research. But yeah, in general, for me, when it comes to these lending protocols, I'm not too much of a fan. It's like things like this can just go wrong in general. But it doesn't mean that this is necessarily a bad coin. So yeah, go what Colin says. Go check out Ivan on Tech. He'll probably give you a good idea. And maybe this is one that I need to do a bit more research into before I can actually make any definitive decisions, because we all know that things change. For example, a few months ago, I was extremely bearish on Myria until I did a bit more research and actually realized that they actually pretty good coin. And MELD has not been around for too long, and also hasn't been exposed to a bull run by the looks of it as well. So I suppose that also it actually bodes well for it. I'm guessing that this token then will be part of a settlement. But yeah, there are others. There's WadsPay is another one if you want to use it purely for payment. But I know everybody has plans to go and buy themselves Lamborghinis and whatever after the bull run. So it depends on what you want to do with the money. Really, it depends. The one thing that's interesting, this is on Cardano. Not many projects that you see being built on Cardano. I know a lot of people are bearish on Cardano as a whole. I think Cardano is still fairly good. It's not going to make you huge returns, but I don't think it's terribly bad. Sitting at $1 billion. Yeah, we might see a 2 or 3x from here. I don't know what's its all-time high. I think personally, I think Cardano might struggle to get back to all-time highs. But stranger things have happened. We'll see where to go to 90. So it's a 10x back to an all-time high. We might see a 10x. Maybe we'll see a 10x. I would say probably 8 to 10 is what you're looking at. I wouldn't go for Cardano. I'd go for something like an Algorand. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. You can see Algorand sitting criminally underrated as well. A lot of FUD around Algorand, but it's still a fantastic coin. There we go. I'm being educated today on MELD. Layer 1, also on Avalanche. Yeah, maybe this is one that I need to do a bit more research on then. Let me actually make a note of it. Probably won't do a video on it, but it's good to know about what we can expect from these sort of projects. And that's a very good question when it comes to cashing out as well. It's like, what are we going to do? And I know a lot of people sit and ask that question. It's like, how am I going to get my money? I can sell everything for USDT, but then what? So it's a very good question. And I don't think that there's one specific answer, unfortunately. It's just going to be sort of, you're going to have to do a lot of research and find the best way that suits you. Personally, like I say, I send it to one of the exchanges that we have here in South Africa that send it straight to my bank account, and that's Altcoin Trader. Not a great exchange in terms of exchanges. I think there's only like 30 coins listed or something like that on the thing, but at least I can get the money back into my bank account. So that's what I'm really looking at. It's a bit of a pain for me because I trade a lot on Bybit and KuCoin. That's what do a lot of my purchasing, unless it's through a Uniswap or something. But the exchanges, I generally use KuCoin and Bybit, but obviously not being able to off-ramp it back. I have to sell my coins for XRP, actually, because I sell it on USDT, and then hopefully I can send it on the Tron network to what's the name, to Altcoin Trader, and then from Altcoin Trader into my bank account. So it's a bit of a process, and I do lose a bit of money along the way. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Am I in Tectum? No. I was saying earlier on, probably won't be in Tectum. It's probably a pretty good project still, but I don't think I will go into Tectum. There's others that I'd be looking at before Tectum. And even if you are looking at going into Tectum nowadays, because by the looks of it, there's a bit more of a downside. So I would give it a little while, let the price settle make sure you are comfortable with the risk, because there has been a lot of FUD around it recently. And I mean, we are at these lows. You have a look here on the yearly, pretty much where we were, not too much lower this time last year. So yeah, there might be a bit more downside. There's some resistance, but if you are going to be getting Tectum, just make sure you're being responsible. Don't just go in. And yeah, I don't think I'll be getting into it, but still a good project. We've got something here. ICO price was $3. Let's see if it gets that price. So yeah, I think this person is correct. Let's see if it tests that $3 mark again, and then you can go from there. But yeah, it's not one that I would be picking up anytime soon. It's not one that I don't think I'll even cover all that much on the channel, but it's still okay. It's a decent project in my mind. Yeah, okay, everybody. That is everything that I was looking at covering for the bull run. I don't know why my camera's gone like this. Oh, no, it hasn't. It's the background picture. Somali Flame thinking we will see lower prices overall in crypto. This is something that has come up quite a bit in my chats with a few of my patrons and stuff. Don't sit and hope for lower prices. I know that a lot of people, it's a lot of us. You don't necessarily have a lot of money to spend on crypto, so you're hoping for the price to go lower. And the example that I use is Nakamoto Games, right? We can even use PlayZap as another one. But you have something like a Nakamoto that is sitting, it's done very well. Everybody who got into this early, you've done well for yourselves. You've made some insane. But now there's people like me, for example, that sit and go, shit, I should have actually got into Naka much sooner, right? Let's just see if we do it this year. Watch the price. You say, shit, I should have gone into Naka much sooner, but don't worry, price is going to come back down. It's unlikely. We're sitting here, say 65 cents, right? It's unlikely that it's going to come back to these levels here January. It's done, what was it sitting at? 8 cents in January. So it's done about an 8x all the way there. So if you got in January, well done. Even if you got in here, 23 cents, you're sitting at a 3x. So unlikely that we're going to watch it tank all the way down. So don't sit and have these targets of going, if it gets to 25 cents, I'm going, it might never come back down here again. If there's a project that you think you've probably missed, look for something similar or another project. Follow my channel, follow Archie, Seth, SSM. We do generally try and give you some pretty good projects. Obviously, we all mess up and nothing's perfect, but we try and bring you the best. So there might be something that will give you great gains, but at a market cap that's sitting at 4 million and not 48 million. Don't sit and hope for those prices, because it might never happen. And then what will happen is you miss out on the investment opportunity of DCAing in over here. You say, okay, I've missed out on big returns. So as a project like this, for example, I've missed out on already an 8x. So from here, realistically, we can do, a 10 to 50x as an example. Let's say we're going to do a 10 to 50x. Am I comfortable with those returns? Now, 10x in crypto, 20x in crypto is fantastic. You should realize that a 10x return on your money in 2 years, that's nothing to be laughed at. You have done extremely well. You've invested correctly if you are doing that with your money. Am I comfortable with a 10x? Yes, okay, I am. So I'm going to then buy a little bit here. Don't take all your money, because we might see something like this, where you buy a little bit here. You can see it's already on downward. You buy a little bit here. You say, say you've got $100 or 1,000. Say you've got $1,000 to spend. I'm going to buy 30% of my capital. I'm going to spend there. Then we know we have a starting point. So if it starts to go up again, you can then say, okay, I'm going to still DCA and hope for the best. Or if this sort of thing happens and it starts going down, you haven't spent all of your money. So you can then spend another 30% here, and it's going lower. So don't cry also when the price goes lower, because if you have a solid project like Naka, you can draw a straight line from here to here and you know that it's going up. So yes, we all want the best prices, but unfortunately, these prices are probably never going to go back down to here. So don't hope for that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you've missed it, you've missed it. You've got to take that on the chin, and then you've got to move on and look for something where you will get. If you want the 100x's, look for a solid project that will give you the 100x's. And we can say the same for something like a PlayZap. PlayZap has seen some insane gains over the last while, but in the last month, I think it's done a 4x. We are seeing profit taking here, which I think everybody expected. It's not something that you should go, okay. It's now a dying project. It went up astronomically, of course, going to come down. But is it going to come back down to this? Unlike what it's already doing here, it's created a resistance. Now, this isn't exact time, but it's created a level over here. So maybe we might come down to this one here and test 12 cents all the way down there, but it's not coming back down here. So just be careful that having lower figures in mind, you might never get them, and then you miss out overall, if that makes sense. Just be very careful with that. And it's something that I've experienced. I did it with a few projects last time. I think Polkadot was one of them, where I saw the price doing what it was, and Solana was actually another one. And I was like, it's going to come back down, and it never did. And I missed out on those gains. I mean, Solana, I don't like the project, but I would have liked the gains, and I probably would have seen a 50x if I bought when I was looking at it. Instead, I didn't pick up any. You spent my money on other projects, which didn't give me a 50x return, which is Solana would have. So yeah, just take that into consideration as well. But if that's all the questions for today, everybody, I am going to be cutting the stream there. I will be live again on Friday. If you haven't already, make sure you are liking the stream. It really does help the channel. Like it, share it with everybody. It really does help the channel. It really is the best way that you can support the channel. Also, I haven't brought it up here now, but I do have my Patreon, which if you haven't seen in some of the previous streams, I have streamlined it. I've made it a bit easier for everybody to sort of understand as well. So I've got 4 levels now instead of, how many did I have? I think 6 or something like that. So I've got 4 levels now, probably something for everybody. So now this Gold Plus tier is everything. It's buy, sell, stake, considerations. You have the VIP Telegram, everything like that. And I've added another one here called For the Day Traders. We have one of our members who is extremely good at his technical analysis. In October, in the first 10 days of October, he has had 4 trades, and we've done just over 400% on those trades. Now, obviously, not every single trade is going to win, but if you're just interested in short-term gains and you understand how to trade, remember, you need to understand how to trade. It's very risky trading, so you need to understand leverage trading and everything like that before you get into this tier, or else you might have a bit of a rough time. But obviously, and the Gold Plus tier does include these trading signals as well. But and they're regular, but I can't say that it's going to be every day, every second day. It's when the levels are there, that's when the trade appears. But the trades do well. So if, for example, if you were in on this, you would have actually made that money back within 3 days, I think. So yeah, and then this is probably the most popular one at the moment. Then, of course, the very expensive one right at the end, if everybody is interested. But if you are interested in the Telegram and you want those sort of features, good to have you there. Otherwise, there is the free Telegram down below. And yeah, it's really good to see everybody here. Every single stream that I do, we are setting new record views, which is awesome to see. Whether you're new or part of the OGs, I've always said, if I have one person, if I have one person watching, I will be streaming. Right now, it's only 2 days a week, but I probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll be pushing that to to 3 or 4, because I do see that there is actually a lot of people starting to watch, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. Have a good day, everybody. Trade safe, buy safe. Make sure you do your own research. It was amazing to have all of you here. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and I'll catch you guys on